Don't know that we're gonna have. All right, so I'll get started. I'm Katie Dudley and I'm the chair of the committee. And I'll just let you guys say who you are. And then I live in the Riverwood Hills subdivision, I guess.
I'm Justin Black. I live up in the Cedar Woodland subdivision.
Jeff Mankinson, I'm over in River Park.
I'm Marie Reisdorfer. I live over in Hood as well.
Awesome. Who is working our computer over here? What's your name, sir?
Ryland, of course, mayor,
Right? And you're in River
video
Park too.
editor here.
Exactly. All right, and then, Rylan, just real quick, can you do the audience camera? How do you do that?
I'm sorry?
The audience camera,
Oh, yes.
just for fun?
Gee, thanks.
I know. All right, the three of you, could you introduce yourselves, please?
Sure. I'm Dave Beal. I'm with Age Friendly Olmsted County, and I live in Rochester.
And Vic?
I'm Steve Sherry, I'm with the One Alpha Alliance program.
And the young man in the back, who are you?
Jason Baker, city administrator.
And every office person right now, or do you have some help yet?
I can't help out in the office occasionally, so.
He doesn't have time to do that? Anyway,
We find time.
what's that?
We find time.
You have to.
Yep.
All right, thank you, Jason, for all that you do. All right, so, on my agenda, I have that we were gonna do some previous meeting minutes approvals. And I still owe you guys, June minutes. I did find a better copy, that actually seemed to be what I meant to have submitted. But I only got 20 minutes into the YouTube video to confirm that, so I'll have that done by April. And then you guys received February minutes, but only today. So the guts of it.
Marie, would you like a copy?
I got it on electronic.
All right, well, hang on, I guess I'm jumping, no, I'm not jumping the gun. Okay, so the meeting minutes from February state, us recommending minutes and seconding it. And then the Zumba River Regional Water Trail, the mayor went over details of what that is for new committee members. And then the LCCMR with the state of Minnesota is gonna provide $165,000 for research. This will be a river trail only. There will be a meeting February 6th to update stakeholders and asked committee for $175 to renew membership in Greater Minnesota Parks and Trails Commission. And Kevin recommends approving the $175 payment to renew membership, and Dawn seconds, so the motion carries to continue our membership with them. The update on DOT news near Highway 52, the fence will be installed by an outside party. The trail under the highway will not need fence, so DOT stated rock piles are enough to prevent people from getting to the median. And then Drifters Car Club. I apologize, I'm not gonna say this name perfectly, but Jim Aschenmacher presented for the Drifters Car Club to use Orinoco Park Sunday, October 5th for car registration for their annual driving car show. They will not be parking in Orinoco Park. This will benefit local nonprofit organizations. Up to $6,000 donated between 3 charities. Club will clean up afterwards, but will need trash receptacles to do so. Several signs will be placed near the entrance, up to 175 cars for around an hour and a half. Public will be allowed to attend. The club may be interested in using the park next year for parking after the cruise has been completed. The committee discussed waiving the $50 shelter fee, but will still have them pay the refundable $100 damage fee. And Kevin recommends Drifters Car Club to use Orinoco Park for registration and waiving the shelter fee, but to keep the deposit, and Marie seconds, and the motion carried. We did mention for the Economic Development Authority that Rebecca Charles stated that grant programs are open, but she needs approval to work additional hours if she is to be the person to apply for them. Marie will check possibility of community members helping with grant submissions. These grants will come from state, federal, and private organizations. And then we welcomed Marie as our council representative. And then we still have openings on the committee. We could have 7 members, and Marie and Justin we're looking into that. Kane supplied a list of park needs, so committee members should look over this sheet and prioritize needs for the 2026 budget and future budgets. And then we didn't have anything to report from city council minutes. And the leadership Greater Rochester sign had been installed at the community center park. Kane will check on what the tennis and pickleball court line looks like in spring at River Park. And the drain field fence removal is not in the budget currently at Riverwood Hills Park. And then our next meeting would be today. So with that, I'm not even sure who. I mean, I did send the agenda out, but does anyone have any additions to the agenda?
Excuse me, Katie, did you
Yes.
get my email from,
No. Did you email Parks and Trails or did you email CNKT Dudley?
Parks and Trails?
Parks and Trails? Okay.
I think that's, right?
Today or a different day?
A week ago today.
Okay, so that means no, I did not see that.
Okay.
But I would like to welcome Steve Sherry here. He's from the Lions Club. And I would imagine your email would tell me you wanted to talk about fireworks.
Yes.
From what we discussed
Yeah.
before. So thank you very much for that. Okay. So that would be one addition to the agenda. And then I already have on there that Dave Beal is here to talk about park audits. All right,
We want to
yes.
approve our previous minutes in the,
Oh, I
Girls
did
first.
jump ahead, didn't I? All right, so I only see under Zumbro River Regional Water Trail to say stakeholders instead of stack. It's just a misspelling.
oh.
Mhm.
Do you see it? Great.
Third line.
Yeah,
anywhere.
Yeah, yeah, all good. All right, does anyone else have any other recommendations for the minutes? No, I'm sitting.
Good night.
All right, so I make a motion to approve. Right. Marie can vote for stuff, right? Or is she supposed to just be listening?
Cause I'll second it. I'll second it.
Well, I'm just trying to help us out
The
to
rules are
figure
not
it out.
very clear on this with the city, and that's.
Oh.
It goes back and forth depending on the group and the body, and it's been done both ways.
Okay,
There's no precedence that's going to drop a hammer on us and stop and disrupt everything. The
The
hammer.
president said, no, there's not.
Okay.
That precedence, so.
I love it. Wonderful. So we can include Marie in voting and seconding and so forth. I love it. Yay. Okay. All right, so motion carry, oh, wait, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Steve, I have fun trying to run these meetings. All those in favor, you already said aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay, so the only thing that I wanted to do then after meeting minutes approval would be the agenda. And I did receive an email from Steve Sherry saying the Orinoco Lions Club would like to sponsor a July 4th fireworks display this year. And I would like to discuss this activity with the Parks and Trails Committee at our March 3rd committee meeting. All right. And then our idea is to host the fireworks at Orinoco Park much the same way as they used to be held. Okay. So we added that to the agenda. All right. Okay. Now, of course, I switched to my screen. So I think at this time, we'll have our guests visit. Wait, did we already approve the
No,
agenda?
come on.
All right,
I'll make a motion to
Thank you.
approve the March agenda.
Second.
all right, there we go. Everybody's participating. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Thank you. So we can move along. So, Dave Beal is here from age-friendly Olmsted County. And he wanted to visit with us about AARP park inventory suggestions. So, Dave, you
like me.
can have the floor. We sometimes bring this podium out to help people out, because it looks like you have something you wanted to read from, right?
No, I'm fine.
Make it official.
Okay, we'll make it official.
Right?
Okay.
Thanks for being
What's
here.
on wheels, that's all.
That's
Yes.
pretty good.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
right, and look, Ryland's following you, so it's perfect. You get to see yourself on
There you
the
go.
screen. Thank you.
Well, this is coming out of a conversation we had with age-friendly Orinoco area. Age-friendly Olmsted County joined the age-friendly network in 2020, and when they joined the network, they asked if Family Service Rochester would serve as the lead agency. And I'm the age-friendly Olmsted County coordinator with Family Service Rochester. And Ryla and I have talked, I've spoken, we've kind of been over the years, age-friendly Olmsted County, age-friendly Orinoco area have been talking with each other about the age-friendly work. And it looks like we have now an opportunity to kind of work together on a project. We applied for a grant from Age Friendly Minnesota. It's called a Technical Assistance Program grant, a TAP grant. And part of that grant was to do park audits, and I'll talk about what those are. And we received funding to do 6 of these audits. Our plan was to do some of these in Rochester, the Rochester area, and then some in other communities in the county. I noticed when Age Friendly Orinoco area completed their action plan, that in that action plan was to do some work around assessing your parks for age friendliness. And so it's sort of, and then our action plan at Age Friendly Olmsted County also included doing park audits. And that's why we applied for the funding. And the mayor and I ran into each other at an age-friendly, a state age-friendly event, and we were reminded that we had this overlap. So we talked about kind of getting together and working on an audit or 2 here in Orinoco as well. This would be an age-friendly Orinoco area project. We're not here to do the park audits or to run the park audits or to tell you should do a park audit or how to do it. We are basically offering, we've done one in Rochester in a small community park. We've used that as kind of a pilot project to set up a system of working with the Rochester City Park Department to do other audits, and we're currently beginning to do one in a city park probably this month sometime in Rochester. So we don't have a lot of experience ourselves, but it's not that complicated. And basically, and I do have something for you to take a look at. This is a worksheet that's comes from some AARP material. And I just want to share that AARP has some very good resources for these sorts of projects. And basically what a park audit is that a group of people of all ages, using this worksheet as sort of a guide, or a worksheet like this, walk around the park and go, what do we have here? Is it what we want? If we could have something else, what might we add? I mean, it's that kind of conversation. And these worksheets, we've used these worksheets like this to do something called walk audits. We've done several of those in Rochester. These worksheets are basically kind of focus people's attentions on different aspects of the park. It does look at the age-friendly work, tries to look at all ages, but the point of entry is usually older adults. And so it kind of looks at what's the park providing for people of all ages. And what we generally find is that parks, when people think of parks, they think of parks and playgrounds, and they think of playgrounds, they think of children and maybe a grandparent sitting on a bench. And that's our parks. But we know that we can get much more out of our parks. And so parks can be multi-generational, and it doesn't take a lot to make them multi-generational. And so that's what the park audit would do, is take a look at a park or parks and kind of look at what can we do, what do we have, what would we like to see, and what would it take for us to have that. And then this information is basically probably come before a body like yours. What we've done in Rochester is we've established this relationship with our Park and Recs department, and it's part of their community engagement process. So it's one among many things that they look at. It doesn't dictate the park, it doesn't design the park. It just says, if you're taking a look at your parks, here's some information from residents about what they would like to see. And so it becomes part of that input. Part of what we've done in the audits we've done so far is try to manage expectations. We had what I thought was a very successful audit in this neighborhood park. The other thing we did was in Rochester, we recently passed a couple of years ago a sales tax levy, and part of that was dedicated to parks. And so they've got a pool of money that they're working with to make upgrades and improvements with parks. And so basically it's providing input into that process. And so we looked at a park, this small neighborhood park called Rolling Green in the north side of Rochester. We had some, there's actually a senior residence facility nearby, Madonna Towers, and it's a neighborhood park. And so there's a daycare center a few blocks away. So people of all ages use the park, hadn't been upgraded for a while. And we took a look at the park, and what the park district did was say, this is what we have, this is what we're working on right now. This is what we have the money for. So we'll take your input about that project that we've got money for, which is basically upgrading the playground. But given your input, we'll take a look at the whole park and what we might do for the whole park when funding becomes available. So we kind of managed expectations. So the people doing the audit said, our input's going to have impact on this short-term and long-term impact, maybe on this as they look at it. So that people kind of understand that if what they ask for doesn't show up tomorrow, that's why. So these audits are one of the things, part of the process is to make people that are participating understand what the constraints are and have kind of a realistic look at what's possible. So what we've offered to do, our role is our grants. Our grant was for like 6 audits, and it roughly breaks down to just around $900 an audit. And what we'd be willing to do and offering to do is to sort of provide that kind of support for some audits here in Orinoco. We can't sub-grant it out. We can't just hand over the money and then you go do what you want. I'd be happy to, but as long as we got receipts. So we need to figure out some way where we can manage the use of the funds, the mutual use of the funds, but that won't be a problem. But what we would do, we have funds to support staff time. We have some, and Ryla and I were talking at the beginning of the meeting, and he said, "Where'd you get the money, the figures from?" And I went, we guessed. But we have some money for each of the audits, some money set aside for staff time, some money set aside for materials, refreshments if you want to do something like that. Have water or something for people that participate, as I share with the mayor, we think, we can kind of move that money around if we need to. So that's basically what I'm here to present to you is this sort of partnership that we're interested in having. Like I said, what park, when, where, those are sort of the details that age-friendly Orinoco area would determine. To the extent that we can help contribute to that process, we're open to doing that. But we also are looking to try to contribute some financial support for whatever costs you might incur. Not whatever, some of the costs you might incur. Okay, and that's just for the audit. We have no grant money for upgrades or capital improvements or anything like that.
Well, Is it okay if I start asking questions
Sure,
now?
I'm
Okay.
fine, yep.
So would some of that staff time would be to cover you to be here with us, wouldn't it? It would be great.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that, yeah, and in the conversation we had with Age Friendly Orinoco area, there was some mention of some person on the city staff that might
Right, yeah.
that might need to have some be covered.
Yeah, our age-friendly monthly meeting, we talked about the possibility of our Parks Department being part of that audit with the age-friendly and reimburse the city or wherever the funding is for that hour, a couple hours that we do. So what I would envision, what we do with this information that we received today, I've been working with Dave, is that the age-friendly committee would probably come back to the Parks Department again with a more detailed plan or audit of what we'd like to do and share with the Parks Committee for anybody that would want to be involved with that. And so we're just kind of still gathering the information, and what we received today was all part of that information gathering. So you'll probably hear more about that, and we'll identify a park or two parks, whatever you'd like to have to do the audit on too, so. And at the same time, ask for your input as well when we do come back to you, so.
Yeah, I should have mentioned as the assumption is we'd work with your park.
Yeah,
Park
the city
department.
staff. the public
I don't,
works.
it's not absolutely necessary to do it like that, but it's worked well for us in Rochester. I think that's a good way to do it because they're the folks that are dealing with it, so they should have
Yeah, they're on the ground.
be participating in it.
I should ask, Joy, is there anything else that you would like to add from Age Friendly? You want to unmute?
She's still on there.
Oh,
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
yep.
Oh, okay. So did I hear we are able to have more than one park that audited? Is that correct?
I think we could look at that, yeah.
Okay, if we try to host it and use a lot of volunteers, I'm thinking that for the $900, maybe we could have a group session and split up. So we have volunteers going to one park and another park, so we could at least concentrate on two. Okay, then my other question would be, you said materials. So if the park committee even designed their own audit sheets for the materials to have those printed, would that be a covered cost under that $900 grant?
Yes,
Okay, and then also if we had city staff, perhaps take the time to measure how big the park is, how much open area is within the park that's not actually developed, that would be covered as well?
I mean, their staff time.
Yes.
Yeah, I think before we go forward, we need to sort of settle what that's gonna look like. So it's not like an open-ended, but yes,
I think we get all that information off the Olmsted County EIGIS system too, as far as that area, that type of thing.
That was a couple of my questions and I appreciate, Dave, that you're able to answer those. I'm sorry that I missed that first meeting with the Age Friendly when you spoke. So this is helpful to speak with you now. Thank you.
Rylan or Joy, so again, I know equipment and capital expenses are not covered in that 6,000, so if we determine we do the audit, we have some opportunities for improvement, are there grants to actually get the equipment and other things done, or is that something that we would need to prioritize within budget season?
I would envision going back to AARP.
Okay,
There's a lot of grants that AARP has for funding park
Okay.
improvements, that type of thing. So that would be our first choice
okay,
versus going with the DNR for outdoor recreation grants or something like that. But
okay.
I think we really want to take advantage of this relationship that we have with AARP and their community outreach for us as well. So
Yeah. and that's what, that's sort of how we're working up there. I mean, like I said, the city of Rochester has some funds that they're using and they have their own kind of upgrade schedule. But like with that neighborhood park they did a section. We've been looking for other grant dollars, ARP Minnesota, the Challenge Grant and AF Age Friendly Minnesota. So
Sure. I just noticed because some of your questions, I think they could even be like disability related.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
not just age friendly, but
yes,
some of that, so I didn't know.
Yeah.
If that was.
If I could just have a comment as well. In speaking with Rebecca, she had mentioned that if we had park audits completed like this, you're more able to apply for grants. You can show that you've already studied what the parks need. You can have it in written format, and other businesses or entities are more likely to give you a grant rather than just asking for money for a park.
Sure.
And Rebecca Charles is our EDA Executive Director. She's with the CETA representative, so.
Okay.
A good point. Thank you, Joy.
You're welcome.
Jeff, did you have something?
Well, I had something just real quick about the support staff time. Does that cover any of the grants that we would need to apply for? You come out, you help us with the audits. We're very thankful for that. Once we have the information, would we be able to use any of those resources to help with those grants or no?
I'm gonna say no, because the grant was specifically for the audit. So I'm
Just
gonna
the audit.
throw in,
Yeah. Okay.
All right, well, Dave, I appreciate
Sure.
coming this evening
Yep.
and letting us know about this. And do you imagine people from the age-friendly Orinoco area would probably be the ones to be in contact with next or something?
I would assume so.
That's right.
And the one caveat that you sort of need to keep in mind is this grant goes through June 30th of 26. So we'd have to do this audit by in that timeframe.
Thank you for that. That was going to be my question.
June of 26. Yeah.
All right, so I would imagine at the next age-friendly Orinoco area meeting, they would come up with a couple parks that we want to work with and find out. I mean, is there anything else we have to do, or can we start organizing when we would do something like this with the city staff?
Like I said, I think what age-friendly Orinoco area probably would need to identify the parks and then set the dates. The rail convert and whatever we can do to help with that, that's we're happy to do so. The other thing we sort of need to sort of work through is how we work the financing.
Yeah, and I think we have a treasurer or something with the age-friendly.
Yeah, we have a treasurer, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, I think Age Friendly will bring that to you with all the details, so.
Right, and Joy, you want to say something?
I was just going to mention that I personally, I would like to see the Parks Committee, where you're familiar with your parks, more than age-friendly. I would like to hear input from the Parks Committee as to what parks you would like to have it looked at. I think age-friendly Orinoco and age-friendly Olmsted County are here to help, but you know your parks. I mean, our parks, I should say. And I think that we're certainly there to help out, but I think we should really rely on the Parks Committee to give us some input, not just the age-friendly group, to make that decision.
Yeah, that makes sense. The trouble is that but we have 8 different ones, and of course we'd want to be able to help all of them. So would you agree that Orinoco Park is the biggest?
The most, well,
Meets an
Memorial
accessibility
Park.
kind of a thing, like easy to get around, parking available close by, not a lot of undulation and the land,
Right.
so. That's what I think I would take into consideration.
Can you flip the camera while we're talking?
And perhaps age-friendly Orinoco could come to your April meeting too and discuss what parks your committee and age-friendly is looking at together.
I think that idea, Joy, is kind of where I was going with this. Having I love Parks Committee doing it, love it, but having an idea from Age Friendly Orinoco with the initial information for us to kind of parse down from that, because like you were saying, Orinoco Park is very accessible already. So would we want the audit to focus on that? But Age Friendly Orinoco might have better ideas with what they would want to see. So I think we got to work together. And Joy, I love your idea of meeting in April. I think that's a great idea. Should I motion, should we say motion to have Age Friendly or to invite Age Friendly Orinoco to come speak about their favorite parks, to have a delegate?
I like
Someone
it.
come.
All right, I second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Motion carries to accept this opportunity to audit our parks and to work with Age Friendly Orinoco area and Dave Beal with Olmsted County Age Friendly. I like it. Okay.
Aye.
Yes. So thank you. Thank you very much, Dave.
Thanks, Amy.
All
We
right,
see you again.
right? Sounds
Sounds like
good.
Thanking you all.
Thank you for
Likewise.
letting us put you on the camera. That was very
That's all right.
helpful.
Thank you.
Celebrity.
All right. Steve, are you ready to go next? All right, so we'll have Ryland switch the camera. All right, fantastic. It looks like you might, well, Ryland, you can fix it, right? There we go.
Steve, how do you spell your last name?
Sherry, SHERRY. So I am Steve Sherry. I'm the current president of the Orinoco Lions Club. And our club has voted to get fireworks started again here for the city of Orinoco. I was only, since I moved to town, I've only seen fireworks once, and that was in 2021, and it was a grand event. I live downtown here, and when they set the fireworks off, they set them off for me, because it came off right over the top of this building. It was awesome. And we want to get this restarted. That's been a constant question we have every year at Gold Rush at the Lions booth. What's going on with fireworks? And well, we're financially in a position where we can do that this year. We're gonna so that the current ask from you guys is, can we use Orinoco Park on July 4th to set off fireworks? And since we're doing it for the community, we would really like to ask you to waive the fees and stuff, because this is a community event that everybody seems to be very interested in. And are there what are the gotchas that we need to prepare for? We're working with Kelly Parker, who is the technician who used to set off fireworks when Gold Rush, I believe, was.
He's certified to do that, so.
Actually, technically, right now, he's let his certification lapse, but talking to him says it's a piece of cake to redo it, so we're covered. And he's given us a timeline of when we'd have to place the order. So we want to make sure we've got all the permitting or the, whatever we've got to worry about, got all the I's dotted and T's crossed before we start ordering stuff and spending money, and then we run into any roadblocks. I checked with Jason, and we kind of went through the city code looking for any gotchas there. Didn't find anything. I've reached out to Officer Ryn from the Olmsted County Sheriff's Department. He was going to get back to me if there's any permitting or things we need to worry about. But I'm coming to you guys, the parks and trails, to see if there's any regulations or permitting or things that we've got to deal with. This is all new to us, so we're going in kind of blind.
We probably want to talk to fire, because you'd probably need fire at the ready.
They have
And-
already volunteered, but chatting with Jason, we've got to make sure that just because they volunteered, we got to make sure that if they're there, they need to be paid, and it's that kind of stuff, right? So yes, the fire department wants to be part of this somehow, some way. this year, since it's the first time going with it, I don't think there's gonna be any attempt at putting on a community picnic or anything like that this time. If this goes good and we get good community participation, truly means, can the community help us fund it for next year? Then we may wanna grow it and turn it into a 4th of July celebration of some sort. So that's what the Lions have got to offer this year, is we're gonna see that we get it put on. We are gonna work with other, with the businesses and, get our Fly the Flag program going, and we're gonna, put more, try to advertise it more, that this is a way that you, the citizens, can help support this and help fund it. So I think this is gonna be a great thing to do, and we're really looking forward to it. There's all kinds of excitement from the Lions Club. And so what questions do you guys have for me?
What did Kelly say would be the timeline to know by?
I think it's around the 1st of April, first part of April. We've
Yeah,
got,
so it's sneaking in here. Quick.
yes.
Right, because what I'm imagining is that, is it wrong if I say we give our blessing to figure this out as a Parks and Trails Committee? And then oftentimes what we do in Parks and Trails, we always send to City Council,
Mhm.
for approval that way. And so, I would imagine that's what we would be doing next after we find out, what you guys think. So what do you think?
Is there a certain radius around where the fireworks are gonna be launched that the public can't be at? And I guess my ultimate question is the park still able to be used by the public while you're there launching fireworks?
I am.
Yeah.
Attendance and capacity kind of where I was going with that too.
Right,
Yeah.
so I'm sure that there's gotta be an off limit zone. I don't know exactly where they would, set the launch site up, but I'm sure there has to be a perimeter around it.
Yeah.
I've helped set off fireworks in Mankato in the past, and there was snow fence or some kind of a barrier, and
So what we've done in the past, you're familiar with Orinoco Park, there's that stone wall down at the edge. So Public Works would stake off that and put yellow caution tape. And then,
We're kind of in the riverbed, the previous riverbed there where you go down the retaining wall? Is that what you're talking about?
in Orinoco Park, there's a stone wall about that high.
Yeah, it gets, kind of get down to the river. You can
Yeah,
walk
it
down.
fades down, but through that whole area is where we would put in the
Okay.
stake, and then a couple of the council members would make sure that kids didn't go over, and just were asking to move back behind, and they always accommodated that, so. And then the fire display, or the fireworks was further around that bend to the south, and then they would shoot out over the lake bed, so. And every once in a while, there'll be a fire out in the lake bed, and so now we have access to get in there, but it depends if it's raining or wet the previous day, but they also can try, and sometimes the fire starts in the lake bed and they can reach it from across the river too. They try, but a lot of times stuff burns up, but and the basic thing that's all we do is we put up the yellow fence or the yellow tape. Everybody parks, they all come down, and it starts at 10 o'clock, maybe last up to 30 minutes, depending on how much money we spend.
depends on how much money. Yeah.
All that's spent, so.
From what we've been talking with Kelly, is he said for the amount of money that we're talking about, we should be able to do a 20 to 30 minute display,
Yeah, that's pretty much.
great.
which would be.
That's impressive.
And if we can get some more money from the community, we might give.
Make a 30-minute display. More booms. Cool.
Well, actually, we might sell more flags as well.
Oh, of course.
So then would they need to, is there any question about the rental of anything if they're just gonna kind of be down by the riverbed?
So
I had a conversation with Jason.
the fees that we kind of talked about with this, looking at our fee schedule that would really go on with it was, one, if they use the park shelter, which wasn't sure if that was gonna be utilized, that's technically a rental fee for that. The other one is the event fee, which I think is what they were looking at possibly trying to get waived. So it's a gathering permit, if you will, which is needed. So if it's less than 100, that's one, or if it's more than 100, it's a different amount. And that's per event, so this would be one event
And just a clarifying question, what are those two numbers?
Yep, if it's under 100 people, it's $50. If it's over 100 people, it's $100.
There you go.
What happens if it's a dry season and then they don't recommend shooting anything off for 4th of July?
Suck.
I know it would, but wasn't it last year that it was super dry? Would they,
Super dry, original.
Are we able to store them and bring it back next year or push it off to a?
Great questions. I don't have the answers to that. My,
We have down at the garage, or local park, it's all of the fireworks, canisters for firing them, and then Kelly's aware of that, so there may be some work from Public Works to help get those moved out, with the skid steer loader or something like that. But I don't know if Kelly owns them or city owns them, or I'm not sure of the detail of that, but typically it's come in early in the morning and set up, and we watch the forecast for, if it rains, but it's all electronically controlled for firing, so there's no hand one going up.
so I will ask about contingency plans. My nature is to be extremely optimistic.
sure.
About waiving the fee.
I think the community has missed.
I think if we waive that fee, we're gonna get people out and we'll get more community engagement. I don't think we need to nickel and dime people over fireworks. We haven't done it in 4 years, right? I'd say motion to waive the fee for this man and the Lions Club.
Well, yeah, it's a community, it's more of a community thing than like a business or something.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'll second waiving,
I mean,
the permit fees.
Right, all those.
I'm not sure if it's you guys get to do that or the city council or.
Well, we
You
recommend it to city council and then city
Okay.
council approves,
Yeah,
hopefully.
'cause if they choose not to recommend it, it wouldn't even go before city council.
Okay,
They're basically recommending they go before city council for approval to waive the fees.
okay.
And then with, of course, the understanding of working with the fire department to figure that part out and all those different things,
Yeah.
like you guys were saying, how you have to decide how many fire employees can we actually support?
Or do they want to volunteer their time? We just got to cover equipment.
Right?
They're pretty,
I
they're
know.
really gung ho for this too, so I don't know.
I'll have
Yeah.
the best seat in the house.
Right.
All right, all those in favor for the motion to bring to council to waive the, event fee? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Fantastic. Well, thank you, Steve, for being here.
We'll have to come to city council and have a chat with,
I can bring it forward.
Yeah, Marie, yeah.
when is the next meeting? I'd be more than happy to.
Next
Yeah, that'd be great.
Tuesday, 18.
The third Tuesday.
Okay.
The
Can
only-
I interrupt for just one moment?
Sure.
Do you need insurance? You need to talk about insurance, Steve?
We did talk about insurance with Kelly Parker. And the insurance is provided through the company that he, works with. So they have got, essentially, they insure him for setting him off because he's the technician in charge.
I'm sure that's what city council will ask. So I just wanted to bring that up, Steve. Thank you.
And just a point of clarification, Kelly Parker is the technician who used to set the fireworks off when Orinoco had them, so he's familiar with whatever is needed. So unless something's changed, we should be good. At least that's what we're hopeful of. So,
Because in the past, it was sponsored by Gold Rush. Is that
Yes,
right?
Gold Rush sponsored before. There's contributions from the city and also from the fire department. And
Okay.
So it's just gotten to the point where it's a little more expensive than what we wanted to budget for. So I think it's great.
Do we have any money in the city council budget for it? I doubt it, right?
No.
Right, okay. All right,
well, thanks, you guys.
are you changing?
No.
That's my job.
Well,
Another thing, if I may.
Your story, yes.
I need to make sure, and Ryland, I don't know if you can answer this, I'm trying to look to see if there's anything with flight hours in town, if we're looking at a 10 o'clock start times, there may have to be something by council to approve that as well, because if we have, and I don't know, again, I'm trying to look to see if we have quiet hours in town.
Well, the noise ordinance that's over here on whatever road this is, there's that sign saying that there's a noise ordinance in town, makes me
Yeah.
think.
I'm trying to find where that's at. I feel like I've seen something, but that's something that'll have to be approved as well, because,
11 o'clock, everybody going, so.
well, usually quiet hours are 10 o'clock though, and if you're lighting off fireworks for half an hour from 10 to
We've got a
10:30.
couple bands playing our house. so
That's the problem.
Pretty the noise ordinance is for 11, but we can.
Bands at your house. and you
We'll
don't-
wanna double check that as well.
Can I make a motion
Oh.
to change, to have Parks Committee also amend the noise ordinance temporarily for that day? Is that, we can make a motion for that here, that Marie can,
Never,
can bring,
I'll just bring it out.
okay.
Well, I don't think noise ordinances are really enforced on the 4th of July anyways.
Hey, man.
They can tell you for sure in the downtown area, they are not.
They're not, they are not by me either.
The other thing, we'll still need to get the permit. There will obviously be no fee if it's approved, but still need to get the permit with the insurance. Just the gathering permit, still has to be filled out, so we have that.
Joy has her hand up.
Joy, do you want to say something? Or is your hand still up from before? That's okay. I don't, we can hear you, but we can see you. This is wild. Ryan's having a good time here tonight, getting things recorded. I love it. Jason, what were you discussing with Steve? What kind of permit?
We still need the gathering permit.
Gathering
The
permit.
fee is waived, that's fine, but we still need to get the gathering permit.
All right,
for the
thank you.
event.
All right. Okay, so speaking of fires, well, I guess that's fine there. So the next thing on our agenda is that, Adam Braze is the fire chief, and he approached me to find out what would need to be done in order for the fire department to be able to do some prescribed burning. The first area that he was requesting was at Riverwood Hills, the drain field there that would have been, would you call it an abandoned drain field now?
Commissioned.
Decommissioned, thank you. So the decommissioned drain field, now that place is very much surrounded by homes. And has, just abandoned tall grasses there. But in the past, I don't know how, so what, I asked Kane about it in our public works, and he suggested visiting with the DNR. And then, so as a city, we would have to, approve it or whatever, but, Jason, what were your thoughts on it?
Where is this at again?
It's down by the park in the middle of, there's a soccer field right there.
Is
There's
that
houses.
West side of town.
Riverwood Hills Park.
The other side
Other side.
from here,
Are they doing it for training purposes or?
that's
or-
what they wanted to approach us as training purposes, yes.
I just think there would be maybe an easier, like accessible area to do that, cause there's no
Okay.
road down to
Well,
there.
There's
I
a
mean,
road enough to get to
Park,
where
there's
they used to have to do some
paths.
stuff. You know, the
There's
Shade
path.
Tree Lane, I think it's called.
Is that
Um,
the one over by Sunnyview and Valley View, or is it?
yes, yeah, it's called Valley View Park in Google. So we've been meaning to work on fixing that, but it's okay.
And they wanna burn where?
It's
Where the-
down by the drain, the old drain field, but there's a house that butts right up next to it.
Yeah,
Do they have a scale on how big they want these controlled burns to be?
I don't like the idea of burning a public park. I don't like the idea because it doesn't have great access to it, because it is that gravel pathway through there. And I don't like it with how close it is to residents. It's not like we're going to a farmer's field in the middle of the township or county and burning a crop. This is in a residential neighborhood. I have a lot of concerns with this because something could go wrong.
Yeah, and if they,
Quite simply.
and there's tall grasses that go towards butt against the field, but there's so many houses that butt up against that
This
grass.
area right here.
If we spark catches that field to the south,
Right here.
catches that field, now we're talking about the
Yeah.
neighbors.
And they're talking about this
Property
area
we're
kind
liable for.
It starts about right in through here.
Yeah.
You know,
There's gotta be other I mean, maybe that's something we ask them if there's other locations. That just seems too close for comfort. I mean, there's a lot of houses back there.
So Garden
Yeah.
Park has been known to have burn piles burned. And the fire department, I think, was normally involved in that, weren't they? Or was it just Public Works? When they had the burn piles, I think it's usually just Public Works that does that.
That's in Garden Park, Public Works did that.
Yeah, so there are some natural areas there between the road and the river. But then again, that would still be in city limits and that would be, you know, still city park at Garden Park. Where there aren't very many houses, you know, close by. I think if we had Dan Sunt around, he would also be saying, they've been trying to do this all the time. And they just never get anywhere because it is, you know, too much.
Last year, they did a fairly large controlled burn.
Was there one?
Yeah, there was. I think it was controlled. It seemed,
I hope it was
drove by and I hope it
controlled,
was controlled. It didn't get out of control. I don't have, let me see. It looks like it was right off here on Second. Let me get myself squared away. Yeah. Just right off here on Second. There was quite a big smoke. It's not in a park though. I don't know what it was. It was a large burn that they were doing.
So that was the fire department as well, you think?
I
Or
don't
somebody?
know. I could pull it up. But it was off Second. I guess it was off. Private land.
Wonder if we just ask if they have another option.
Yeah.
I get what they're trying to do, but if there's another location that maybe would be a little.
So are you willing to walk across the street and ask Adam, hey?
I could, I walked back over there.
But you are, well, it was across the street from your house too, almost, right?
Yeah.
Anyway. But with your connection to, because aren't you the rep for?
Not for fire, it's for first responder.
Oh, for first responder. Who's our rep for fire?
I think
Jim Phillips.
Jim is still,
Jim Phillips is? Okay.
I can talk to Adam. I can ask him.
So you can let him know what we talked about and things like that, and I can.
Yep.
Okay, that'd be great. Okay. So at this point, for the prescribed burning, we're just kind of concerned about so for the minutes to reflect that we're concerned about it being on
Who was it that was asking? I'm
public
sorry.
private
Adam
property.
Brace.
Adam Brace. He's I guess, is he a new fire chief or has he been the fire chief for a
all
while?
the assistant fire chiefs.
He's an assistant fire chief?
Yeah, system.
Is Dan still on?
Yeah, we only have one fire chief and we have two assistant fire chiefs and then training officer and security. Or something.
Okay, so it's Dan Sunt,
Yep.
Adam Braze, and who's the other?
And
Oh, Kane's on there too. Okay. Those are the top three.
Some put that we're concerned about proximity of homes. He said that it's also on public land.
Yeah,
And probably accessibility.
yeah, the access isn't great either. We could write
Yeah,
that
there's
down.
no roads, it's gravel. And it washes out there.
And again, I don't know that we wanna be, I'm trying to, I guess, envision what they're doing, but I don't like the idea of them burning the city park. I don't know,
Well,
again, there's burn piles in city parks, but what, you know,
It's, so the park's there and then the drain field's like across it's across the field. So it's not like
Yeah, so we're
right,
to the
but
west.
there's tall grass right there. If you had any wind, it could jump easily and then your whole field would be up.
yeah, and I know that those trees back there too aren't the greatest, those are old and probably easy to spark.
Yeah, that drain field that butts up against the house. There's a house right behind it.
Yeah.
So if that's where they're
It's
doing
city
it,
property, it's part of city property.
yeah, if that's what they're doing, it's right there. And even if it's the city park, they mow that. they mow the field, so there's not tall grass in the park. Yeah, not the drain field, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, what is gonna happen with the abandoned drain fields in town? They have at least 3, right? Or yours is different.
Yeah,
Yours isn't really city,
Nope.
even after we've done this conversion,
it might be, it might have gone back in city, I don't know, it's going to deal with it right now.
right? But that's something that, you know, now that it's not subdivisions, does that mean that the city's gonna be trying to mow those or something, or, I don't
To
know,
be determined.
right? Okay, all right, 8:30, so what I'd like to do. Well, wait, what did I say I was gonna do on the agenda? Does anyone else have it up?
Mayor's got to talk about the summer water trail. DOT updates on 52.
All right, and I think, Rylan, you said you don't really have any updates right now, right, for the Zumber Water Trail? Nothing different? Okay, and then was anyone able to visit with Rebecca Charles about park stuff? So,
no.
right, no? Okay. And then, we could advertise for more park committee members continuously.
Yeah, I put an advertisement on our Riverwood Hills website, our Facebook page.
Now, you're not Riverwood Hills.
Sorry, Cedar Woodlands.
Cedar Woodlands, you guys have a
Yeah, we have a
Facebook page?
Facebook page, yeah.
Nice.
No,
Good.
yeah. A couple people liked it, but no contacts.
I know, yeah, yeah,
We could put something on the just Orinoco Facebook page too.
yeah. But who does that?
Anybody can.
Anybody can.
You could make the
We
post.
could do it.
Oh,
You are the leader of the head. You're the gaffer.
I left it at home on purpose. Oh my gosh, Joy, you wanna put something on Facebook, right?
If you want me to, I can
Would you?
put a note up there. Sure.
I would love that. I've taken on too much stuff and I just can't, even though it would take like 5 minutes maybe, but. So you're good with that on the Orinoco page? Now, would that be the Orinoco Citizens page or the City of Orinoco? Cause it could be both, right? We would want it on both of them?
Well, the city of Orinoco one comes through you,
Yeah,
right?
and we've already posted on that one. We can repost up again, it's just.
Did you ask for committee or people to participate? in committees?
Yeah.
On there?
For sure we did that.
Okay. I was thinking of the our Orinoco committee one.
The Citizens page, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how many members do you need, Katie?
Well, we could have,
You said 7.
we could have 2 more. We have 5 right now. We have 2 absent today.
And that doesn't include your council rep, right?
Right.
Okay.
I mean, if we get excited, we could, I mean, it's not like there's a limit necessarily. They suggest 7, but we really only had 5 for the last long time. Okay.
Is there a term that,
And originally it was really fancy, you know, like I started doing this in 2017 and then I was supposed to be done in 2019, but now it's 2025.
once you sign up, it's forever.
Right, right. So, and I think it's just because we're not super formal, I guess. And we don't have enough people to rotate around, you know, if we had more people to rotate, then it would make more sense, you know. So for a while, our council rep was doing our minutes, which was amazing. And then I was trying to do them and I didn't do a very good job, so now Justin's been doing them. And originally, like, you're supposed to have like a vice chair to transition into being the chair. So, trying to groom Justin.
There you go.
So what I feel like right now as chair is I'm kind of in charge of the agenda, reminding people to come. And then I'm super appreciative of Justin doing the minutes there. And then I'm excited that Joy is willing to post something on the citizens page. That's awesome. Okay. So Rylan, we don't, where are we at with the paving trails at Riverwood Hills Park? Cause was that written into the after water and sewer was done, was that written into anything, or is that just kind of
Yeah, that was
stalemate?
the Riverwood Hills Trails. We've paved the one path from the Istis Lane down to the playground equipment. We're close. But rusted paths, the paths we like to pave, but we haven't put anything into the budget. It could be part of potentially a capital improvement budget, but nothing's really been discussed for 2026, or 2025. But the idea was to wait until the sewer project was done before, because some of the paths followed exactly where some of the sewer lines were at, so. I do think it's very worthwhile to continue to look at that and use our outdoor recreation, or DNR, outdoor recreation grants, but EDA is also looking at this as well. That's a possibility of applying for grants, but sometimes those grants tie into a citywide system versus just a park. But if you're connecting a park to other parks within the city, there's some possibility for applying for grants, and usually they're 50-50, 50% donation, so that's where it comes into a budget issue.
If we did that audit for age-friendly, potentially with Riverwood Hills, maybe we could get some funding from ARP to pave those trails.
Yeah, that's another possibility, yeah. They're very expensive. The one we did from Mrs. Lane to the playground equipment was, I want to say about 1,200 feet, and that was about $70,000, so. That was 3 years ago.
And was that paid through capital improvement plan or a different?
I think it's just, there's a lot of ideas of how to use the capital budget money, and that's something that this council will have to deal with going forward and planning for it, whether it's a budget item or a capital budget.
I think that's where we would need as the Parks Committee to say like for 2026, here's our top 3 priorities and here's what it's gonna cost, and maybe we start finding grants and saving and bringing it into the budget for 2026 and even 2027 if it needs to go that far, but just getting like, here's our first 2, here's our next 2, whatever, like having some prioritization to that list.
And Daniel mentioned, at our council meeting too, but we start looking at projects for 2026, it's just July timeframe. So I think there's some more discussions to start there, so.
You said Danielle?
The others, Daniel Springer, other council member.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what I have here from Kane is, some different ideas that he put together. You're welcome. And so we can kind of look at this and maybe come back with, which ones would be the most important to work on or something. What I do find very interesting though, is he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 properties that are not parks, but require groundskeeping. And I don't believe this is even referring to the abandoned drain fields. So that's.
One of them is
Which one is the abandoned drain field?
River Park.
Oh, yeah, the River Park drain field.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah. Does anyone have any comments on how to move forward with this list?
Well, we got technically 28 items, and 2 of
Yeah.
them nobody's credit.
Thank you, Steve.
Hi, Steve. Coming up with a plan by what, July? Is that really what we need to do? Are we gonna sit here tonight and say, this is my top 3, this is your top 3, or do we kind of readdress this at the next meeting and say, these are my top 3 priorities that we need to start pushing through? Do we wanna have input from the community about these? Do we reach out for input from the community about these? I mean, if it's just us, I can pick my top three, but how do we come to a consensus, Katie?
Yeah, I don't know if some of these, I mean, again, some of these are just, to me, public works items, that I don't know if we need to necessarily, like Kane's probably gotta deal with it, but I don't know if we need to. So maybe we need to put them in two different buckets.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like a brush dump, I mean, that's nothing really we would have to, I mean,
Well,
If they use
there
our
were-
parks.
Like adopt a road ditch cleanup, I mean, again, I think that's a bigger, probably community engagement thing.
What's that, Justin? No, what were you saying?
I was just saying about that brush dump, you know, we could do that at Garden Park, easy place, you know, we had one there before. But,
Knock that out of the list.
but yeah, some, I mean, stuff that's obviously gonna be more expensive than others.
Mhm.
And the whole brush dump thing was something about allowing community to bring brush somewhere,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And
Kind of on that same note, I had something about, like Garden Park or something like that. Is there like a community compost, or is that just like way taboo, way too many? Yeah, I see that look, no.
I've been here long enough to answer that one, so.
It seems like if you're doing garden plots and gardening, having just a general like, throw your
Are
compost.
we even doing garden plots in Garden Park anymore? I know we
Well-
did that for a couple of years, and then
There's
last year, I don't think there was anything there, but we did have sewer was kind of down there.
Yeah, the sewer stuff was a mess last year. I do believe we still have a water source down there. The shed, I believe, is still there.
Yep.
And it's just a matter of if we have people requesting to rent a garden plot. So it's still available
I
there.
mean, this is, I mean,
Would we put on our own as kind of hosts of the park?
Right, to make it look good, or,
Still on the fee schedule.
yeah, it's still on the fee schedule, yeah.
I mean, we're
Yeah.
March here, so I mean, I mean, if that's gonna happen, we need to start talking about that soon, because I mean, May, people
Well,
wanna be down there getting that tilled up, and we had to
And
put a fence around it, and.
we didn't do that. Individuals did that.
Okay.
So that's the case of that. And, we used to sponsor the tilling if people wanted to use the space, but we really haven't had any demand for it.
Mhm. There you.
So, I don't know. And Rylan, in order for us to have gotten Istis Lane paved, we had to have like Joe Palin come up with like how much it would be, or how did that
City
work?
would have, council would have to authorize a feasibility.
A feasibility study
Report, which could
report.
cost $10,000, $6,000.
So it costs money to figure out how much money it's gonna be
Right,
to,
we need to have a design spec, and that's what they would do.
and there isn't anything like that already out there, even though it's been talked about.
Well, there's one from 6 years ago,
Right?
Well out of date.
but not in detail. But that's when the first feasibility was done for all the trails. And we just picked this first one. And then they did a in-depth design.
Okay, after that. It made someone move their fire pit, stuff like that.
Yes.
Right?
yeah.
Okay,
That's why I think we'd have to say these are our top two for 2026 and go to council and say we would need that type to know what the costs would accrue, but these are our plans for 2026 and 2027. And bring
Numbers
that
3 and 4
forward.
on that list.
Or whatever is, you know, the top 2 or 3 from this group. Like some of these things, even like remove the fencing. Like, I don't wanna volunteer my husband, but.
No, that's what I was saying last time, like I'm
Some of
over
these
there, I
things
can
I-
just walk across the street and start ripping those things
Yeah.
up. Where do we put them?
Yeah.
Right, I know, there, we don't wanna step on toes, right? We don't wanna step on anyone's toes, we gotta store these things as well, because we
What are,
can't.
what are our options with these properties that they maintain? What are our options there? Do we have any? Can we just say, let them go, just grow?
Native
You know, and
landscaping?
then does the community complain when we have, you know, knee-high grass everywhere and rodents living, and you know, all sorts of critters up there?
Would eat.
city property should be maintained. We expect others to maintain theirs, and we should be maintaining ours.
I don't see an option there to,
They're all city properties.
But does this fall more on the city side or on the parks? Do we just have to give them the green light to say, yeah, roll a mower through there?
they're
Or,
doing that right now, I would think. Already
This
mowing.
list is more like, trying to find ways to involve the Parks and Trails Committee in doing
Projects.
things, like have a hand in helping out our park guys.
Yep.
You know, cause our public works carries many titles.
Yep.
So this is a way to kind of help alleviate some of their parks duties and, you know, some of the things that Kane feels, you know, can be brought to you guys to take charge on some projects, to work on some things, to organize, to lead.
Yep.
You know, the funding, a lot of the funding we have in the budget for stuff, it's just manpower and time. We don't always have the time to do it. So these were, you know, the list items that he put together of stuff that he knows, you know, need to be done or can be done and don't require, you know, a ton of effort or time or all that kind of stuff, but, you know, something to get the ball rolling. And if there's other things that aren't on there, great. This was just Kane's list that he knows starting off that stuff is on his list to do. So,
Also would help prioritize his work and work.
yeah, and this would be in conjunction with Public Works, working with Kane and them, you know, to get these things done. It's not necessarily all on you guys, but at the same time, if there's something where you're like, hey, we could get a group of 6 of us together and go do this. Great, work it out with Kane. He'll help give you supplies or whatever you need, give you a little bit of direction, and then go do it.
great.
Like, you know, that's kind of what this list was for. So I think, you know, ultimately, you know, if looking at the list, I want to come back to next month and say, all right, these are my top 5, these are my top 5, and kind of see where everybody's at, put them together. You know, maybe get it together before the meeting, so when you guys come to the meeting, you've got the list of everybody's top 5, and, you know, if there's any that are multiple.
Sure.
Kind of give guidance.
We should have asked Steve about number 10. Maybe the Lions Club has some money for Veterans Memorial.
I feel like, yeah, going through, or the Lions Club, the VFW is a great community place for us to work with. I'm sure they'd love to help kind of do something.
Spearhead.
All right, help work in tandem with that, find a
And
place
that's
to put it.
We don't have a Veterans Memorial Park, right? We don't have that kind of stuff. That's not something we really said funding to make a big thing with, but I also know there's some other parks we don't really utilize. So maybe turning one of them into a Veterans Memorial Park.
We already have a memorial park. We could just change it to Veterans Memorial Park.
With a ball field.
Yeah.
Is that the one by Tilly's?
Yeah. Do what you want. I'm just saying, like, it's one of those things that, you know, you can think outside the box and utilize some of the space we have and go from there.
And just slapping a sticker on top of that one, that's pretty good.
Better than done.
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
all right. So we'll take some time to look through this and then, next month, we'll all say, these are the things that we want, and we'll talk to Kane in the meantime about how we want it. Tackle them. Great.
All right, who knows what I'm adding to the list?
Basketball court somewhere. I got a feeling we're gonna get a basketball court.
Oh.
Where do you want that basketball court?
Veterans Memorial Park.
Oh, we're.
Might as well just shoot
we're
fireworks
changing
off
the
there,
name.
that's home base.
Oh. You know? That's being recorded. If you can change the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, we can change the Memorial Park to Veterans Memorial Park.
That's the man that can do it right there.
Okay.
Inside.
I don't know that I have anything else on the agenda right now. I do feel like, and I apologize, Kane, he's not gonna hear this, but I am a little confused as to what we can do to help with some of this stuff. Like, I don't think he would imagine us out there mowing anything.
A through I think the one thing we can
What
do
did he want?
is
So we can move it longer.
we can remove that fence to help them with, they wouldn't have to trim then. But I don't, A through H, I don't know what we can do. I mean, I don't know if he could come in
We
and say
can-
what he would think we could do.
Can we say as a Parks Committee that it's okay to let that stuff get longer, but not ridiculous? I don't know. But what has to happen to be able to say we can remove a fence?
And it's vinyl fencing as well, so we have to store it somewhere, I'd imagine.
right? I mean, do we recommend the council to, or do we just do it? That's where I get confused.
So is that now that it's, we have sewer now, that is now community, or sorry, city property? So I mean, that's technically the city's fence.
Cause I believe there's fence at Riverwood Hills too.
Is that
All the way
Drakefield
over.
city property?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so I mean,
All
it's
of them are? No?
just a chunk in the middle of River Park.
The River Park,
All of the drain
That was,
fields,
Yes.
that was
Yes.
Patrick's for a while.
city
wasn't it?
property, no.
cause there's fence by Riverwood Hills, isn't there?
Like over 2x or over 4x4?
Not as much as
It looks
what's
like
that.
6.
Yeah, those are like, they might be 6x6s. I mean,
I don't remember their chainsaws and,
I think it's vinyl.
so then we have to dig them out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say I've gone over there and just angrily shaken a fence post. That's not anything I've done before, but judging by the looks of them, they're probably in there pretty strong. I don't mind ripping them up. That's
Is
fine.
that the purview of Kane? I mean, he's as the director for that oversees that.
So will
He
he
made that
know-
call to take those fences down
Yeah.
because they don't serve a purpose anymore. The drain field's done. It's city property. It's gonna make it easier for him to mow.
Yeah.
And, so that's one of the things I think he's looking at
Just
is,
say, looking for our permission to take them out?
he's not looking for, he's looking for help.
Oh, I got it.
I think is the big thing is, that's what these projects are is.
skid loader, let's
They can do it, it's gonna take them time, if that's something that this
Spring's coming.
committee wants to help take on.
Yeah.
And, work with them, work with Kane and them to figure out, maybe there's a Saturday that works for people to put, you guys put together a work party.
Yep.
Maybe get the neighborhood involved, community members involved and say, put stuff out, say, hey, we're gonna work hard to take this stuff down. We're gonna pull it out, they can bring in the supplies and helps, bring supplies. People volunteer their time. Come in, remove stuff and, and then we figure out what we're gonna do with it, obviously, but you can put it in a pile somewhere and we can deal with that after the fact.
Yeah. Yeah. Figure it out. Random pile in town, not my favorite thing.
We'll get it dealt with.
All right,
I don't know where I'll go, we'll figure it out.
so, good.
Yeah, we should talk with Kane, just what he needs, and maybe we just post something on Facebook and ask for volunteers. You probably would get a lot of people.
Yeah, I think next month we'll all have a top 5. I think that's fair. Basketball court, we'll put that up there for you.
So, are you able to tell Kane that we'd be willing to help him out with something, or do you want me to make like an official thing to send to council?
And kind of let them know.
Let us know what
Look
we
at it,
can
we're gonna
do.
go over this again and we'd like you to be here next month to help give guidance and.
I mean, I don't know,
If we're all picking our top.
I think he needs to tell us when we could do something to help him, I guess. And then we could try to organize that. So, all right, I don't know. Do
I
I
think
read?
he's pretty open. This is, take it and make a
Right.
decision and move forward.
Exactly. All right. Okay. Does anyone have anything else for this evening? Good.
Mm-hmm.
And Rylan already helped me do my calendar flinging.
Sorry.
I appreciate you letting me do it though. Okay, so, our next meeting would be April 7. And, by then, the ground will be thawed more, I don't know, and then if there's things like that fence, we'd be willing to help them do that. However that works and all the different things. Okay, so I make a motion to adjourn at 8:20.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Joy, are you still here? I bet you she